Most of you know the old story about the astronaut who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes. And so they said to him, well, what about God? And he said, she is black. 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 And he said, she is black.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas. That's the way I feel. Screaming Black Lives Matter, all the black guys rather be deadbeats than pay your bills. Yelling nigga this and nigga that. Call everybody nigga and get a nigga mad. As soon as I say nigga, then everyone react and wanna swing at me and call me racist cause I ain't black.
First nigga didn't check his ass. You did your thing, my song. Now move over, big bro. Let me wreck his ass. He say he not a racist. Oh, here we go. All types of stereotypes right out your stereo. Them Europeans don't want to look at the scenario. They just started wearing drawers 300 years ago. Distorting all our history. Crackers playing the mummy. And 98% of your genes come from a monkey. I guess that's why you act like an animal. In them Caucasus Mountains eating corpses, you's a cannibal. Down on all fours, you was crawling like an animal. We taught you how to walk, now you the one we gotta stand up to. How dare you look us in the eyes like you don't feel us, when Valentine's Day ain't about shit but pedophilia. Broke up our homes and started adopting our kids. Organ harvesting, robbing our kids. You stole our land and gave it all to your kids, and gave my ancestors babies to the crocodile's kids. They made souvenir crocodile heads. Now you tell me who the devil really is, and if a race war pop, just know you started this shit, and you gon' need every new nigga, all of them shits. Vaccinating babies when they enter. And why the fuck you keep the placenta? I'm going hard till it's fucking beat over. Homosexuality come from Greek culture. And while we on this subject, my nigga, just let me mention that Plato and the rest of them niggas never existed. And you wonder why everybody hate you. How the fuck you monetize nature? I guess lines in your nature. And Pocahontas didn't love him, bitch, he raped her. And look at all the shit you tried to flip on me. I taught you how to write and you rewrote history. And I can tell you why your soul is missing. Melanin is sunlight condensed, it's from the solar system. Hence you get your soul from the solar system. And now you know why your soul is missing. Guess that's why you dying just to get it. Skincancer.org said you dying every minute. You suffering from melanoma still, and you tried it with the melatonin pills. And they ain't even worth shit, take your dollars back. And tell the British Museum they're my artifacts. They took 14 million from us, and Leopold killed 14 million of us. You got the nerve to try and talk about Hitler. Bitch, if I was there, I swear to God, we would've clicked up. And Black Lives Matter shit, I feel like fuck them too. They ain't representing me, they was started by a Jew. I know my people gon' feel me for this, and I don't even give a fuck if they kill me for this.
When we want to talk about God, we gotta be mature. Because a lot of times when you're dealing with information, understanding comes from maturity. It don't come from just reading. It comes from an internal discipline to digest the information for what it is unegotistically. So when we talk about God, first you gotta clean your mind, okay? So just like in biological computer lecture I did, your mind is like a computer and it runs off the hardware that's installed on it. So a lot of people over here, when you say the word God, they think there's some motherfucker that's gonna come down out the sky with blonde hair, blue eyes, turn some water to fucking. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the word for what it is by definition, okay? So ASAP is an acronym for as soon as possible. Follow me? Yeah. God is an acronym for generator, organizer, and dispenser. So we finna go into the etymology of words and all that, because I proves my points to the T. When we talking about the black woman is God, well, by English definition, we speak the English language, she is. She's generator of your genetic database, organizer of your genetic database, and dispenser of your genetic database by giving birth to your ass. When we talking about the cosmos, being a black woman, we have to deal with what we can tangibly prove. We're not dealing spiritual right now. Y'all know I get real spiritual. We're not dealing there right now. We're dealing with atoms. What is the atomic structure and composition of the cosmos, and what does it of the universe. We would call this the unified field in science. Now, on the unified field, things vibrate into existence. Not only the universe be a black female, but one, the universe is made up of what you call cosmic melanin, or ethereal matter. In science, they call this black plasma. They acknowledge it without acknowledging. Now, why is this important? The universe is made up of electromagnetic energy, electrons. Electrons is scientifically proven to be what? Female energy. So I'm going to be breaking down how the universe builds upon itself, predicated upon female energy. In galaxies, plasmic wormholes, black holes, portals, anything else that's out there is birthed out of an electromagnetic field, being the feminine field. So we come from females, the galaxy comes from a plasmic female. What other proof do you need to know that female energy leads? The definition of generate, for those of you who can't see, means to cause something, especially an emotional situation, to arise or come about. The second definition is to produce, being energy or especially electricity. So, by default, the black woman produces and definitely causes you to come about on a genetic scale. Now, on an astrological scale, the cosmos, which is made of electrons, by default, hands down, produces the chemical materials needed to combustionate and compose your physical body in order for your soul to inhabit and have an earthly experience. So your physical vessel comes from an electron, comes from electrons, being a cosmos, and then it comes out of the womb of a black woman. So on an astrological level and a spiritual level, you become birthed into existence from the solar system, which once again, electromagnetic energy, electrons, building planets, building bodies. And then once you get in the body comes out of the womb of a black woman who generates the genetic material needed to physically composite a child for it to grow. So the black woman, on a cosmic scale and on a physical scale, is the generator of your existence. Now let's go to the second definition. Organized. Number one means to arrange into a structure, order, or whole. Everybody's heard of the Eve gene, the mitochondrial Eve gene, which I'll be going into. It is in the womb of the black woman, whether you want to call it a womb, whatever you want to call it, where all of the entire genetic material is housed. So, just like a vault in a bank organizes the money we store, the black woman's womb is the DNA vault of the planet. So right now, we wanted to create a new human. We would go to the black woman in order to get this newly found information. So the black woman not only is the generator, she's the organizer of all humanity, as well as the cosmos, once again, because it's in the cosmos, which creates the galaxy, which creates the solar system, which organizes these elements, which organizes the sun in order to vibrate light and create elements and activate atoms, which help to create physical reality. So now, let's go to the last definition, the last letter of the word, D, dispense. My definition. Dispense means to distribute or provide a service or information. Now, why is dispense important? Because human vehicles or bodies, because I gotta keep us high vibrating. You are not your body, you are the soul and inhabit the body. So the same way, if you want a car, you gotta go to a car lot. If you a soul and you want to reincarnate, you got to come out of a womb of a black woman. So your vehicle is dispensed through the African womb. So the black woman is the generator, organizer, and dispenser of your avatar, your vessel, for you to reincarnate and have an earthly experience. So the black woman is like the gatekeeper to earth realm. So if we say the black woman is God, yes, the hell she is. Yes, she is hands down. I don't know what kind of science people is not reading. I don't know how people miss this all of these years, but we're here to put the information out. So on a mature level, once again, so people can have the frequency of this lecture in its correct perspective. I'm not talking about the black woman going to jump across the cross. So you can keep that guy. We're talking about why she is considered the most high in African culture since day one, and why that was the first thing the Europeans eliminated and wiped out after enslavement. So let's keep it kicking, baby.
Shout out to my nigga Pharaoh. I came with the yeah. The hip-hop police, they been after me. Cause I'm preaching self-love and self-mastery. Yes, I am. I came to talk about the God in you. God us and God's how we gotta move. For sure. When we was the slaves, what the Bible do? Confuse us, no, you can't be high as us. Take away knowledge, it's easy to hide the proof. That's fucked up. So much power inside of you. That's right. Tell me what's breaking the rules. When they got Jacob from Yakub, beat us and killed us for nothing. But they ain't hide this in the news. No, they didn't. I'm on an alkaline diet. Yes, I am. I know what they put in the food. Yes, I do. I know what they put in our minds. Goddamn. I cannot make no one choose. Goddamn. I gotta lead by example. I'm giving out samples. I know I'm in tune. I gotta pull up my niggas. Yes, I do. Like the ocean get pulled by the moon. I got chakras in my throat. I only converse with the woke. I appreciate the little things, cause me and my family was broke. Not a dime. It's levels to the shift, make a switch and feel empowered. Let me make a toast. To the universe. They tryna hit me with the hate. To the universe. I hit the weed and then I float. Yes, I do. They used to hang us by the rope. Now they lying under oath. Telling me I should be quiet, only gonna make me wanna go do more. Hey Pharaoh, let them know.
I'm running through them like I'm ganning. Bitch don't get hit with that motion. They not gang signs, they mooches. We throw them hoes up like ninjutsu. Don't be lied to by the light. Come to the dark side where it's truthful. Bitches levels to the shift. All your chakras looking foolful. Bitch you don't know, I got this shit out the mud with no water to grow. You try when upstate came on fires on post. I walked out with that cannon, I ain't get no show. No matter what they gon' find ways to hate you. War with the gods by myself like I'm cradled. Knowledge too deep but come straight from the pharaoh. Queen of my DM say she from Barbados. Baby, I'm good, I already got two. I'm still good in the hood, they love when I come through. Why you all on my dick? Let me do what I do. You got real bitch nigga tendencies. I got close friends for some enemies. Gotta watch these niggas like they Anakin. When they switch up on you, it be damaging. Turn you hard inside like a mannequin. It's some shit I done thought about how it's some shit I ain't thought about. Watch your mouth, is that something you thought about? I done been through some things that bring thoughts about. Like loading them clips, bringing choppers out. Catch you lacking and squeeze, bring them coppers out. I'm a rebel in this bitches, devils in the midst. Don't want you to ascend his levels to this shift.
What connects God or the black woman to the universe? Melanin. Now, let's iterate on melanin because I'm pretty sure y'all hear me say melanin 98,000 times a video. Melanin. There are 4 types of melanin. You have cosmic melanin, which is what science would call dark matter or black matter, or black plasmic, whatchamacallit, particles. And then you have planetary melanin, which is human melanin. Now, human, we're going to go on to science here. Science confirms that you are not a human if you are not of African descent. Only Africans are 100% human beings. All other entities on the planet are only 96% human beings, 4% Neanderthal. So when they're saying planetary melanin or human melanin, they're talking about African melanin because only African people possess neuromelanin. Neuro, keyword, neuro, just like neurons, nervous system. Neuromelanin is created in the brain by the pineal gland. Why is neuromelanin important? Because neuromelanin connects your nervous system, aka your thoughts, to cosmic melanin. So this is where they get the saying, connection to the Most High. This is where Europeans created that fictitious hierarchy of only the pastor has a connection to God, or only the Catholic priest has a connection to God, because black people have a connection to the cosmic God due to our neuromelanin in our brain. What happens is, once the Kundalini energy circumnavigates up all 33 of your vertebrae, it jumps from the 33rd vertebrae into the brain. And it pushes open the pineal gland like a door. See, a lot of people don't know the pineal gland actually opens and lifts up. And once it's being stimulated by this Kundalini energy, it swells like the hood of a cobra. And the pituitary gland, which is located directly under the pineal gland, begins to flicker like the tongue of a cobra. Hence, why the Egyptians put the cobra on their crown chakra, to let you know that all of my chakras are fully activated. Now continuing on with the build. Once the pineal gland is opened up, the pineal gland is the door which separates the 3rd ventricle of the brain from the 4th ventricle of the brain. The 3rd ventricle of the brain is in the first front half of your head going towards your forehead, and the 4th ventricle is in the back half of your head going down towards the brainstem. And what happens is, once the pineal gland opens up, it acts like a latch or a release lever. And the neuromelanin, aka the black liquid, that's produced by the neuromelanin nerve tract in the brain and stored in the 3rd ventricle, begins to flow out of the 3rd ventricle into the 4th ventricle and stimulate the brain. Specifically, what it stimulates is what's called dipole antennas. D-I-V-O-L-E. Dipole antennas are melanated receptors located in between the internal and external layers of the skull, which actually allow your thoughts to enter and exit your head. A lot of people need to understand this. Now, why is it important? Once the dimple antennas are being stimulated by the melanin, you have a more enhanced megahertz frequency in your brain, which allows for a greater connection to the solar system. So it's just like your phone. If you're somewhere and you got bad reception, you don't have a good connection. If you don't have a good posture and your chakra energy is not climbing up the spine into the brain, you don't have a good mental connection with the cosmos. You follow me? So we're talking about planetary melanin. Why is planetary melanin important? Because only African people have this. We are the ones with the direct connection to the Creator. And specifically, the point of this lecture is the black woman. So now we're dealing with the third type of melanin, which is plant melanin, which is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is just melanin for plants. Now, if you look up the chemical formula for chlorophyll, you'll see that it's the exact same formula as African people's melanin. The only thing different is we have iron and plants have magnesium. So this is why you hear them say you got iron in your blood, but we also got copper, and they'll tell you that too, which is a conductor of electricity. Now, why is it important? If you was to take a plant and take me, and just switch my iron with the plant's magnesium and switch the plant's magnesium with my iron, I would now have chlorophyll and the plant would now have my melanin. So this shows you that we have a biological connection to all things in nature because we are the only natural beings on the planet. Now when you go to the fourth type of melanin, which is animal melanin, which in science is called pheomelanin. Why is pheomelanin important? Because African people, which have planetary melanin, possess all of these melanin contents. Animals do not possess neuromelanin. So now, why is pheomelanin important? Because Caucasians have pheomelanin. They don't have neuromelanin. So when you're dealing with the pineal gland, 85% of Europeans come out with a calcified pineal gland, which means their brains cannot produce neuromelanin because the pineal gland is like the headquarters of the neuromelanin nerve tract. And for the 15% who don't have a calcified pineal gland, even once the Kundalini energy raises up the brainstem of the Caucasian and pushes open the pineal gland door, they have an empty third ventricle. So it is literally impossible for the Caucasian to have a connection to the Creator because he wasn't created natural. He's genetically spliced. So when we say the black woman is God, it's because the black woman's melanin content is the most potent on the planet, and she has the number one connection to her higher cosmic self. Y'all follow me? Yeah. So now let's keep it kicking, family. Okay. Now let's break down the different levels of existence, because we want to prove how the universe is a female cosmically. I mean, how God is a female entity cosmically, and how God is a female entity physically. Now, first we got to get into God in the spiritual is the universe. Now, this will be electromelanin. So this will be what I first told y'all, the cosmic melanin. And I broke down the science how the cosmos builds upon electrons. Now, we're dealing with God in the physical. By default, this will be the black woman. Why? Because the black woman's melanin and melanocytes within her skin, for one, helps to connect her to cosmic melanin. Now, the molecular formula for melanin is carbon 18, hydrogen 10, nitrogen 2, and oxygen 4. Now, why is melanin and melanocytes important? Because in the epidermis layer of your skin, you have what we call melanocytes. Now, picture small pockets that produce melanin. Now, the melanin in the epidermis layer of the African is only and can only be produced by the African. Now, let's get into the sciences. Because before I get into this lecture, we want to eradicate all other women on the planet Earth from having a chance to think that they can say that they can hold a candle to the black. We want to bust them right out the run. When you're dealing with the black woman, right, and you're dealing with all other people, and depending upon the shade of your skin, if you are not of African descent, because you have an African tribe in Africa who has never had any sexual reproduction with a European, and the whole tribe is light skinned, but they have the same genetic data bank as the darker skinned African women. So we're going by race here, because race does matter. So if anybody says nothing about race, you're damn sure it's right about race. It's all about race. When you're dealing with Spanish people and Chinese people, and you compare them to the African, we're going to use the word machinery. Within the melanocytes, you have what is called biological machinery. The African woman has the machinery needed in the melanocytes to not only produce the uromelanin and the neuromelanin, but the darker you are, you're about 85 to 100% full. And then when you get to a lighter skinned humanoid person, they're about 50% to 75%. I mean, a brown skinned person like me, I'm about 75 to 100% full. Now, when you get to about a lighter shaded person, they're about 50% to 75% full of melanin on the epidermis, on the contents of the level of keeping this in a realm in which the epidermis layer of their skin produces. Now, when you get to a European person, European people, according to their flesh, are 15 to 0% empty when it comes to producing melanin in the skin. So not only does the European produce from 15 to 0% melanin in the skin, they don't produce the neuromelanin that we produce. They produce pheomelanin, which is animal melanin. So the black woman possesses the machinery to produce the melanin, and then the quality of melanin that she produces can only be produced by her. The European lacks the machinery to produce the melanin. This is why they don't. This is why they get sun cancer and skin burn. Look at skincancer.org. According to this statistics, every 57 seconds, one European dies of skin cancer. It's a fact. Now, this is not by accident. This is because they cannot produce neuromelanin within their skin because they lack the biological machinery to do it. And even if they did, they can only produce pheomelanin, which is animal melanin. So that being said, melanin condenses straight out of the sun. So when Egyptians said we are children of the sun, that wasn't them trying to be cute. That's a fact. They understood the science of quantum mechanics. So the black woman has a physical substance, which she passes down to us, black men, that you can only get from the cosmos itself. So there's no other woman on the planet Earth that's 100% human being except for the African woman, and there's no other woman on the planet Earth that has neuromelanin in all parts of their body, not just the brain, but the skin, the liver, the heart. Even their DNA is coated in neuromelanin, and this comes straight from condensed sunlight. So you can only get melanin if you were created by the sun. So we have to understand the black woman is the chosen humanoid being, and we have to fight and protect for the black woman. This is not for brownie points. This shit ain't to make the black woman admire you. This shit is because this is the way black man, this is the reason black man was created. So we gotta go according to nature. Period. That's just, it ain't no discussion. It ain't no more opinions. If you can't get with this information by now, 2016, I'm looking at you as an enemy. And when it pop off, you ain't my brother. Period. Now with that being said, what sustains physical existence? Because now that we prove that the black woman possesses melanin that can only be obtained from the sun, we gotta show her qualifications for being God. What sustains physical existence? The sun, which is light. How is light created? Now, everything is created spiritually before it's created physically. Because if you're nice with Reiki healing, which I'm studying, but I ain't like I'm nice with it, but I'm getting into it. But if you see Chinese people who are educated by us, they do acupuncture and all that. And y'all see the movie with IP Man, paralyze you and unparalyze you, all that. All that has to do with chakra centers, which are the energy vortexes in the body. You are a spiritual being condensed into a physical being. Hence, once again, melanin is condensed sunlight. Now, why is this important? Light is nothing more than electricity and magnetism when it comes together. So electricity and magnetism, once it comes together, is physical. But light is the thoughts and will of the Creator, which is the spiritual components of the Creator. When you're dealing with emotion, emotion is a compacted word for energy in motion. So when you have an emotion, that's just the energy vacuums within your body are beginning to flow. So right now, if I say shut your ass up and you get mad, I just put your energy and motion inside of you. So this is why self-discipline is so perfect, so important, because each and everybody in this room is an individual universe. And I shouldn't be able to come make you have a goddamn solar storm because I said something you don't like. Because that's what it is. You have a tornado inside yourself because I told you love it. But you should have enough control over your being to not, I shouldn't affect you. You don't see planets fighting up there. You don't see Mars like, Pluto, what the fuck you looking at? You don't see it. You don't see it. So why is we fighting like that? So that's because we don't understand ourselves. So now, why is light important? Because the thoughts and will of the Creator, of the unified field, vibrated itself into a spectrum of what you call electricity and magnetism through emotion, which is just energy and motion. So once the cosmos set in motion on an energetic level to become electricity and magnetism and combine together and vibrate itself into a sun, and from this sun stimulate the, let's say, I don't want to say dead, let's say dormant atoms, and make them ionize, which I'm going to, and make these atoms form planets, and make these atoms form cells of organisms, it created a black woman. Now, why is this important? Because that shows you that the black woman was deliberately and intellectually created and put here. So ain't no Big Bang Theory accident, nothing. The creator, whatever you believe in, Allah, Jesus, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, whoever you believe in up here, out of all the shit that's on this planet that was by accident, you can bet that the African woman was for sure here deliberately and intellectually to do her job. So it is our job to make sure that she do her job. Because you can't say, I tell you all the time, you can't say, Farrell, all white people not like that. We'll tell that to the sun because he don't play no games with that. He runs his own. You know what I'm saying? We'll tell that to the sun. Is the sun racist? No. So for you to be trying to tell me to do something that's against nature, I have to question your allegiance to your God.
Right there.
All right, we good?
Yeah, we good.
All right, boom. So when you're dealing with the radio level of the electromagnetic spectrum in the sun, this is where the sun actually began to speak. Because what is sound? When you use your vocal cords, it's just vibration. You play a guitar. How do you produce the sound? It's just a vibration. So the sun was actually spoken into existence. I'm going to read the definition one more time if you need to understand it. Radio, the transmission and reception of electromagnetic waves of radio frequency, especially those carrying sound messages. They don't say maybe or we thought it was. They say especially. So now why is it important? Because you got the radio wave right here. So the sun began to get spoken into existence. So when the Bible says, and God said, let there be light, God didn't say, let there be light. It was intelligent. This shit wasn't no accident that the black woman was here first. So now why is it important? You see this right here, family? This is called an electromagnetic wave. Now, as y'all can see, the electromagnetic wave is not so condensed at this point. But as it travels, the electromagnetic spectrum, it begins to condense. You are watching the sun condense into melanin. Do y'all see this? Yes. You see it combust. So when the creator of the universe said, you know what, I want to be a goddamn human. Boom, and it started vibrating. It got here and said, damn it, I'm a human. But guess what the first human was? The black woman. So I have to keep steady. This don't make us inferior black men. I love being a black man. If I could come back again, I'd be a black man again. But the point I'm trying to make is we gotta play our position, and we can't know our position until we know why it is, or who it is, or who the black woman truly is. So now let's get into this, family. This is 432 hertz. Y'all see this? Yeah. Let me teach y'all what a hertz is real quick. Okay, drums. Black people, why do we love drums? Why do we love bass? Because we absorb sound through the skin. A lot of people don't know that. You literally absorb your favorite song. I promise you right now, get some extra money in your paycheck. Your favorite song is the first thing that pops in your head and you want to do a little dance. I'm telling you the truth. This shit ain't by accident. It's because your DNA stores and records on a level of your flesh, on a biological level, what you intake on the sound wave. It's called cymatics. Cymatics is the study of waves and how they interact with you biologically. It's study biochemistry. Biochemistry is how you study bioenergetics. Bioenergetics is how you biologically interact and respond with energy. So now, when you're dealing with hertz, right? You got kilohertz, megahertz, gigahertz, and terahertz. Kilo means 1,000, mega means 1,000,000, giga means 1,000,000,000, and tera means 1,000,000,000,000. So I want y'all to understand the velocity of how hard this goddamn sun is vibrating. So when you drive in your car and you be like, yo, this shit whack. No, the sun whack. Your car don't whack. Now, a terahertz, right? It's like a drum. If I hit this wall one time, right? Pop, that's 1 hertz. So now 1 kilohertz would be me hitting this wall 1,000 times every 1 second. 1 megahertz would be me hitting this wall 1,000,000 times in 1 second. 1 gigahertz would be me hitting this wall 1,000,000,000 times in 1 second. Excuse me. 1 terahertz would be me hitting this wall 1,000,000,000,000 times in 1 second. So when the sun gets to 432 terahertz, aka right here, where this wave is hitting itself 432 trillion times per second, it begins to create physical reality. So if you study paradoxology, which is the science of spirit beings and ghosts, which is factually confirmed, paradoxology will teach you that anything under 432 terahertz is non-physical but yet still intelligent. So now why is it important? Go your ass out of space, everything that's not contained within the spectrum of light is still intelligent but non-physical. So now, when we want to deal with the black woman, and we want to deal with the science of the black woman, we want to understand that melanin is condensed sunlight. Melanin was intelligently designed by the creator. So when you design a car, people say, "Ooh, you put the piston." Half of us, I couldn't do it. I couldn't put a car back together. Think about your body. If I gave you skin and nails and hearts and valves and veins and told you create a body, could you do it? No. So understand the intellectual proportion in which the black woman was put here on purpose by the Creator. How many valves you got in your house? How many veins? How many tendons? How many bones? What goes here? What wraps around? The muscle mass, the breast. At this time of year, the cells want to do this. All this was created on purpose by the Creator. So I need for that to sink in your goddamn head before I go further. The black woman is a divine being. This is by default. It's not by opinion. It's not up to what we want to feel. This is by fact, and we got to do all we can to restore her back on our side. Because all white supremacy is making the black woman value everything but the black man. If you can get the black woman back on your side, there is no white supremacy. White supremacy is not police killing you in the street. It's not that. White supremacy is feeling like, I want a man with a good job. The white man created a job. White supremacy is, I want a good Christian man. The white man created Christianity. White supremacy is, niggas ain't shit and niggas is dumb. But the white man is so smart and he's a professor. But all that shit is a lie. White supremacy is taking the mind of the black woman and redirecting it in favor of the white man. So we got to get the black woman back on our side. And once you do that, you ain't got to worry about shit. You good. So with that being said, family, the black woman is God.
Someone recently asked me to explain the nature of this reality in layman's terms. This was my answer.
When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you really see yourself? What if I told you what you visibly see is in fact not the real you? The real you is that invisible you observing the visible you.
I want to talk about the three bodies. This is super important. To understand who you are, we now kind of have a narrative of what the meaning of life is. The next question is, who am I? Who am I? What am I? What is this thing that's standing here speaking with sounds coming out of this thing we call a mouth? And where are these sounds coming from? And how am I stringing them together? How can I see what is happening? How am I breathing? What is this thing I call a human being? I am not one person standing here. I am three people. There are three beings. I am the mind. This is the guy who is observing, who is thinking. I am the soul. This is the guy who is feeling. Yeah, thinking from the heart. And I'm the body. This is my DNA. This is what I've inherited. Mind, body, and soul. Every single human being goes through moments where you question yourself. Think about that. You question yourself. You question yourself. By virtue of that sentence, you're referencing two people there. You are questioning yourself. So there's two beings there. Every time you have a thought, you always have an equal and opposing thought. Should I eat something? Maybe not. Yeah, I'm hungry. Maybe later. No, I'm going to eat something now. What's just happened there? You've had a conversation with yourself. This is what this whole Holy Trinity is all about. This is the Holy Trinity in action. This is the physical science of it. As far as I'm concerned, it's the only logical explanation to it. The mind, this is the star within you. We all have a star. We all come from the stars. We're all made of stardust. Again, mainstream science says this as well. There's a literal point to this. We are literally made of stardust. The stardust is within the mind construct. This is the frequency, what we call your consciousness. It's the light within you. And it rests somewhere in your head, I think in your pineal gland. This is where God is. So when I say I am God, I'm not saying I am the God. I am God in quality, but not in quantity. I am a speck of God. I'm one stardust of God out of trillions and trillions of stardust. So every single living conscious being, anything with a consciousness, is a speck of stardust from Source, the original God. We are all it, every single one of us. Some stars shine brighter than others. You look out to the stars outside, some will glow brighter than other stars. The stars up there, when they look down on us, it's exactly the same. As above, so below. They look down and they see some stars are shining brighter than others. Some are more aware and awake than others. It's just a game. So this is your God self. Your God self does not keep any memories, as far as I'm concerned. Your God self is simply here to observe. I'm a spectator. I'm here to judge. Your God self is the judge and the executioner. I watch. I'm here to experience this existence. Your second body, your soul, as is suggested in the name soul, this is the body you received from the solar system. This is your sun. We all have a sun inside of us. Just like there's a sun out there that shines, you have a sun within you that also shines. The sun is your soul. Okay? Your soul is your etheric body, for lack of a better term. It is the body that your mind uses to experience different versions of reality. So when your mind is done experiencing, learning, sharing and growing one reality, it says to the soul, hey guy, it's time to move on. We've learned enough of what we need to learn in this lifetime. Let's have a different experience. And the mind and the soul exit your third body, which is your physical. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. This belongs to the earth. This physical body. Your soul belongs to the solar system, and your mind belongs to the universe, the multiverse. It's God. So the third body that I've inherited has got its own character, its own traits, which I inherited from my parents, my family, habits, the way I look, the way I talk, the way I walk, the way I behave. These are all programs that I inherited when I incarnated, when my soul and my mind incarnated into this bloodline, physical bloodline. So this is a default setting. It's to help you cope with whatever reality you're in. This body is coded with the operation system of this reality, of this realm. So my soul and my mind have to adjust to this reality, because my soul and my mind are beyond the space and time. If your soul incarnated here, completely activated, well, you know what happens, you'd be locked up, you'd be put in a loony house, because you wouldn't make any sense to anyone. Because the things you're saying and doing transcend this space and time. And you call these people schizophrenic, bipolar, insane, mad. No, they're not. They're just, they're not in tune with this frequency of this time and place. That's all. So, the game at this point in time is for us to find our souls. Save our souls. SOS. Your soul is locked in the cells of your body. Your body has cells. What is a cell? It's a prison. Yeah? Your soul, not only is it in your cells, where is it? You said in your heart. What is your heart locked in? The rib cage. Your soul is caged in your ribs and then locked in your cells. We're all born with this. This is just part of the game. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just the game. Now, for those who are old souls, mature souls, who've transcended the space and time, those who are on their last run, and there's a big batch of us who have reached that stage of this game where we're able to set ourselves free. Free yourselves from your cells. This is what awakening is. The moment you awaken, you begin to see the world in a different way, different eyes, different perspective. Everything you thought you knew does not make sense anymore. You've transcended this time and space. You're now leaving your prison. This is what awakening is.
Once upon a time, you were this. You had no name, no shape, no color, no size, no sex, age, or sound. You were timeless and spaceless. You were everything and nothing at the same time, the Alpha and the Omega. You were, and still are, infinite, intelligent potential energy, sometimes referred to as the void, the monad, dark matter, counter space, the creator, or simply God. You are God, in quality but not quantity. You are but a drop in the ocean of everything. At some point, you, this everything and nothing, decided to become, well, something. This was the first thought. This first thought led to the first manifestation. In the beginning, God spoke, sound and vibration.
At this point, there are no dimensions or space, and there is no time. There is also only two options available for God: remain in this state of static omnipresence or begin creating. God will begin creation eventually. However, as there is no time, it is irrelevant to ask how long it took to make the decision to begin creating reality. God has now created a perfect spherical membrane, and once again, it only has two options available. It can either remain static and explore this imaginary shape for all eternity, or it can repeat the process described thus far. The only difference is now God has a reference point, the spherical membrane, on which to repeat the process. It does not matter where spirit chooses on the membrane to begin the process, as it is a perfect sphere, thus all points are identical to each other. It cannot make a mistake. At this point, God only knows how to do two things: projecting an octahedron and creating a spherical membrane, and moving its point of awareness to what is newly created. So God moves to the surface of the newly created spherical membrane and begins projecting another identical sphere. God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, "Let there be light."
The second manifestation soon followed. Let there be light. And so, light was manifest into existence. We now had the first manifestations, or building blocks, of existence, the original Holy Trinity, light, sound, and vibration. This holy triad was and still is the spark, fire, or pyra of life at the center or middle of all existence. The pyramid of existence. This is Atum, or Adam, the atom. This original triad, or pyramid spark of life, in its purest form, is of course a star. You are a star. You are physically made up of stardust, atoms, atomic energy, and within you contain starlight, spirit, or conscious energy, Stars, of course, are angels or angles of light resonating at various frequencies of light and sound within the universal spectrum of frequency. Now, the first atomic or Adamic star in this universe was Polaris, the pole star at pole position, the Pyrrha in the middle, the pyramid star where it all began. This is the original light bearer, Brahma, Lucifer, Christ, or simply the point of singularity as modern science calls it. This is the firstborn star of our universe. Everything revolves around Polaris. All stars in our universe were born out of Polaris. Of course, we all know there are many other stars that revolve around Polaris, most notably the 12 main zodiac constellations that help Polaris regulate space, time, and matter within our universe. We could think of Polaris as the conductor in the center, surrounded by a zodiac orchestra of 12 disciples. You, I, and everything in existence is a fractal reflection of Polaris, the central star of the show. Polaris, along with all the other superstars, are of course in the heavens above our heads. Your journey as an individual star began in the heavens, where you were an angel or angle of light. A triangle of light, to be specific. This triangle of light is, of course, your original frequency of light, sound, and vibration. You and I continually emit a frequency of this light, sound, and vibration. This frequency is manifest here on earth by all sentient beings as our thoughts, emotions, and actions. In the heavens, we were superstar angels or angles of light. Our true frequency was and still is aligned to a particular angle of space within the celestial cosmos. This angle of space is what we call a constellation of stars. Thus, we could say your original triangle of frequency was and still is aligned to certain celestial constellations. This is your original sign of nature, your spiritual signature. This spiritual sign of nature can be determined by the exact location of celestial star constellations at the exact time and space of your earthly incarnation. Your Earth Day, or birthday in short, is what we might call your astrology. Astro meaning a star, logi coming from the root word to log, record or document. Astrology is simply the science of one observing, recording and documenting their original spiritual sign of nature, their signature. As above in the heavens, so below here on earth. Naturally, these three planes of existence, the heavens, the ether field, and the earth, all operate within different bandwidths of frequency. We could call these different frequencies or bandwidths universal language or coding. This frequential universal language is coded as sine wave signals that are holographically transmitted and interpreted by us through the mind. All is mind. As an earthly sentient being, your thoughts and emotions are simply frequency of energy you are continually downloading, emitting, and transmitting. This downloading, processing, emitting, transmitting, and subsequent actioning of oneself is what we call consciousness. And like I've been saying, there are 4 main stages of conscious awareness: the unconscious, the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious mind. These stages, or states of conscious awareness, are programs built into the mainframe of the human higher mind system. They are like levels or grades that help us perceive, interpret, and experience reality in any given space and time. The degree of one's conscious perception in relation to universal truth is what we call intelligence. Our purpose on earth is for us to intelligently navigate through our earthly experiences. Experience, of course, evokes a process of learning. Learning leads to growth, and growth is, of course, expansion. Expansion, as we all know, is movement. We must move the ment, move the mind. That is why we are here. That is the purpose of life. Every time we move the mind, we draw closer and closer to ourselves, to the oneness, source, or God, if you like. You and I are all from the same source of energy. We all contain the same essence of being. We all have the same potential star energy, just at different frequencies of light, sound, and vibration. Now, let's revisit and map each stage of the process from our beginning to our current. 1. You and I began as one, whole with the universe within the multiverse, the void or the womb of source energy. We were and still are a cosmic drop in the ocean of existence, timeless, shapeless, and spaceless. 2. You and I separated ourselves from the whole. We polarized ourselves out of the cosmic womb and into the firmament. This firmament is the first plane of existence in our universe. We were now individual expressions of experience. We became angels or angles of plasmic light, sound, and vibration, or simply stars as we know them. This first division subsequently began our polarized and dualistic descent into the cosmic game of hide and seek. We became co-creators of experience. 3. From plasmic angles of light in the firmament, we transversed further down into the ether field, where our plasmic light transmuted from light to gas, or Holy Ghost. This alchemical transmutation from light to gas is what we call becoming a spirit. As a spirit in the ether field of solar systems, you descended further and further away from the whole, getting lost deeper and deeper into the game, all the while co-creating and cohabiting with all the other stars of the show. 4. At a specific time in space, your spirit was lured into the solar system, getting further away from the firm mind of the heavens and closer to the plane of the lower mind, the earth. Within the ether field of the solar systems, your spirit awaited its turn to enter the holographic physical playing field of the earth. And one day, when the frequency of your particular constellations of superstars was perfectly aligned, your spirit was incepted into the earthly void or womb of a woman. Within the womb, your spirit once again transmuted from plasma gas, spirit, into plasma liquid, blood, within your new earthly body. The alchemical conduit for your plasmic spirit to transmute into blood was the most powerful liquid plasma on Earth, electrically charged semen. 5. At some stage during your womb transition from spirit into blood, you became a physical human being, or as I like to call it, a rock star. At the moment of birth, be Earth, when you became Earth, you entered this realm through the place you enter, the placenta. The moment you took your very first breath, you became a soul. Your star self became soiled to the earth by the soles of your feet, and thus your transmutational descent was alchemically complete. From starlight to plasma solar spirit to plasma DNA liquid or blood, and finally into our current state of matter as a human being. 6. And so, here we are, on the plane of the earth, in this dimensional realm, trying to find the starlight hidden within, the real you. We could say we are playing hide and seek with ourselves. Why? Well, because we chose to. We chose to enter the dragon, the serpent, the Ouroboros circle and cycle of experience, learning, growth, and expansion. We all chose to leave the cosmic womb and enter the energy game of hide and seek, snakes and ladders. Be inspired to find your nearest ladder and reach for the higher mind. 7. The rules of the game are simple. Know thyself and follow your path. One can only know thyself by expanding their conscious awareness. This can only happen when one's intent or heart is pure. A pure heart allows for one to tune into a pure frequency. Pure frequency being knowledge, information, and direction, signaled directly from the higher mind, the firm mind of the superstars in the firmament. This is your knowledge armor, your K armor, otherwise known as karma. However, intelligent intention must always be followed through with intelligent action. We might call this virtuous action. Action, of course, requires change. Be prepared to change your perception of food, health, science, geography, cosmology, religion, and all the other lower mind scripts and programs you inherited. Be open to unlearning, learning, and relearning. Be prepared to change your mind. It's totally mental. All is mind. 8. We have now well established that the earth is a stage, playground, or school where our rock star selves experience, learn, grow, and expand. And of course, like any school, the school of earth has many various classrooms, what we might call realms or dimensions, and grades, what we might call ages and epochs. Like I've been saying, The season of change is upon us. It's almost graduation day. The graduation ceremony is fast approaching. Are you ready? 9. The student will see when the pupil is ready. Is your pineal pupil opened and ready? What quest are you on? What stage, classroom, and or level of game will you be playing in this and your next lifetime? Find yourself and be yourself. Enjoy the experience of learning. Share your joy with others. Continue to seek, grow, and expand. But most importantly, remember, this is just a game. You are the star of your show. Smile.